Okay, welcome to Coffee Lecture number 24 of our 34th series. And today it's about copyright and open access and how to select the right license. And it's all about your work, how you can protect it, how you can share it. On your work can be many things. It can be actually artwork, which is protected. It can be even food. So this is the first example of the patent. The first patent was actually issued 500 years before Christ in a Greek city, and they wanted to foster better food. So if a cook invented a delicious new dish, no other cook was allowed to prepare the same dish for 1 year. And of course, it can be also buildings, like the building here, this HCI building, which was built or designed by Mario Campi, who had certain rights. He couldn't change anything. And also his photograph, which is provided by ETH Library, is protected and comes with a license. So if you get it from Wikimedia, you have to check what kind of license you have and what you can do with it. So this is all what is called in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria Urheberrecht or copyright. In UK, US, which is not very much the same, but very close. The biggest difference is that in Switzerland and Germany, the copyright focuses on the value of the creator, his idealistic relationship to the work, whereas in UK and US, it's more commercially driven. It focuses on the economic aspects. So in Switzerland, copyright protection comes automatically, expires 70 years after the death of the author, with some exception I'm not going to mention. And you don't need to put a copyright sign on it. That's no longer necessary because that's an automatic process somehow. But now let's focus on scientific content in journals, which is most interesting to you if you want to publish in a Nature journal, for example, how to do. And when you publish, you need to know these 6 colors: green, golden, diamond, bronze, black, and red. And I'm going to explain all 6 colors to you. Let's start with green. Green open access says you provide your author copy on a server, on a repository. There are institutional repositories like ETH Research Collection, where you can upload your manuscript. You can possibly upload your submitted article, your accepted article. In some cases, you can also upload your published article. And this is how a manuscript looks like on the right-hand side, an article which I wrote many years ago. And if you want to go the golden way, the ideal way, the way it should be, golden open access, you have to have money. If you publish in a cheap open access journal like Public Library of Science in PLOS ONE, for example, you have to pay around $2,000 depending what kind of article is. And you can also see that different fields cost more or less money. And PLOS is somehow a mega journal because they collect thousands, 10,000s of journal articles every year and they make still lots of money. Bronze open access is, in principle, you have access to read it, but there is no explicit open license. So you cannot use the data in the article, you just can read it. So this is called bronze open access, which should be also avoided. Then diamond, if you publish, for example, in ACS Central Science, you are lucky because you don't have to pay an article processing fee because it's covered by the publisher, by American Chemical Society. And it's also free to read for everyone and use the data. So it's a truly open access journal and no one has to pay for it. Of course, it costs money and money has to come somewhere else, but neither the author nor the reader have to pay. So this is ACS Central Science, which has still a huge impact factor. And here it says, ACS Central Science is a diamond open access journal. All articles are free to publish and read. And the costs are covered by ACS. Then you can go the black way. You can hope that Sci-Hub is smart enough to find your article, even if it's behind a paywall. and move your article to Sci-Hub, so everyone can access it via Sci-Hub. And this actually works pretty well. But in most countries, it's not a legal way. In Switzerland, I was told it's legal unless you make a business out of it. Then the red is where you can have problems. So for example, let's pretend you have a really good research project. It was very successful. You want to publish it in a Nature journal. So first of all, if you have to publish open access, you have to have around 10,000 Swiss francs because it's expensive because of the image of the journal. But you can also publish in the traditional model, so you don't have to pay for it, but only subscribers have access to your article. And this depends also on your funder, what you have to do. Because there is this consortium Plan S, which said we do not support the hybrid model of publishing. So Nature is still a hybrid journal. You can pay for open access, but you can say, I want to be in a traditional way and I don't want to pay anything. And they do not allow that you publish in these journals unless there is a transformative agreement, which means the journal told that within 2, 3, 1 year, we will be fully open access and get rid of this other possibility. And under those circumstances, you are still allowed to publish in a hybrid journal, but there has to be a transformative agreement. If you can't afford paying the APC by yourself, because 10,000 Swiss francs is a lot, of course, for a doctoral student anyway, there might be help from ETH Library, because ETH Library or ETH Zurich has a lot of agreements with open and read publishing agreement with publishers. So I recommend this Open Access Wiki, which is German and English. And if you log in the English version, there is a table of contents and there's article processing charge funding. So you get an overview, an updated overview what's possible. So there is a list of publishers where ETH has agreements. And if you look American Chemical Society, you can see that's a gold publisher. That's also still a hybrid publisher. And ETH members publish free of charge in all listed hybrid and golden open access journals of ACS. So that looks actually good. However, if you have received funding by the National Science Foundation, there is an information below that if you publish in hybrid journals, you are excluded and you have to pay 3,000, which is a lot for an ACS journal. So they force you to publish either in a true or golden open access journal of American Chemical Society, like ACS Central Science. But if you want to publish in checks, it's not possible. So you always need to carefully read this information. If you realize I can't afford golden open access, I have to use green open access, then it's important what rights come with the certain journal or publisher. So there used to be a service which was called Sherpa Romeo, and this has been renamed. It's now JISC Open Policy Finder. And here you can type in a name of the journal. So here you can see what has changed. Instead of Sherpa Romeo, you have to search the Open Policy Finder. You type in, for example, Angewandte Chemie, another flagship in chemistry. You see there are still 2 issues, a German and an English issue. You go for the English edition. You get an overview what you can do depending on the license. If it's already published, if it's published with open access, if it's accepted or if it's submitted. And if you click in accepted, you can see what you are allowed to do with the accepted version. If you click in submitted, below you see what's possible. You can put it on your own homepage, but you have to provide a link to the publisher, and you are not allowed to update the latest correction from the publisher, which is sometimes really bad. In my opinion, that's not a good way to do this. You can also check if there is open access compliance. So you can select your funder. For example, if you have funding from Cancer Research UK, you can click and then you say it's compliant. You can use Angewandte Chemie as a journal. However, this does only work for UK institutions because it's a now only UK service, so you can't check if it's okay for National Science Foundation or any European funding. And the next step is, because publishing open access is getting more and more costly, so big funders like Bill Gates Foundation say, we don't want you to publish in journals any longer, please publish in preprints. So the latest information from funding from Bill Gates says any publication, we won't pay article processing charges. You have to go for preprints. And there's also the Barcelona Declaration for Open Research Information that says everything has to be open, free, also the peer review process. So you have to publish open access, and even with open access journals, you're getting asked what kind of copyright you want to assign, what kind of license do you want to assign to the article. In traditional journals, you have to sign the copyright transfer statement that you transfer the copyright, at least in parts, to the publisher. And a useful tool for selecting the license, if you have no clue what kind of license could be good for you, you can use the license chooser from Creative Commons. They ask you, do you know which license do you need? If you say no, you're getting asked more questions. Do you want to have an attribution for the work? Yes, of course, usually you will. Then this is BY for citation. Then you're getting asked, do you want to allow a commercial use? If you say no, then it's NC, non-commercial. Then you are asked if you allow others to build on this. You can say yes and no. So share alike. And so you click, and then you know what kind of license you select with a publisher. And you can also copy paste this into a paper. So in this case, I selected CC BY-NC-ND, which is the latest version. I have also a coffee lecture card. This time it's only digital. So if you want to have the coffee lecture card, there are two ways. Either you drop me an email. I have a very short email address, should be easy to memorize, or you use this short link from ETH Zurich to download it immediately. I would like to do some advertisement for the next coffee lecture, which will be tomorrow by Gina Casorossi on overleaf.